Rest, a topic we only skimmed the surface of in our last video, as we looked at it often meaning for us relaxation or recuperating. But the question we posed is there more to it? Can rest be restorative? Can rest actually help us rebuild? I love the way theatre producer, conductor and composer Michael Shaw puts it when he talks about rest and pausing within music. Consider this. Music is a collection of sounds and silences. If music was just a constant sound, it would be horrible and difficult to listen to. If music was just silence, there would be nothing to listen to. In fact, rest could be easily compared to punctuation. If we ignored commas and full stops, then reading and indeed speaking would become chaotic. The stops, the rest in music is not just a break from music, it's actually part of the music. And it's got me thinking, is that the same in terms of rest in our lives? Is there more to it? Is rest just about at the end of the day or maybe the end of the week, coming home absolutely exhausted, collapsing in a heap onto the couch, maybe having a drink to try to relax your mind, grunting and maybe just barely making sentences at the wives and kids, being a bit cranky as you just try to recuperate? Is that what rest is for? Is that all rest was designed to be? Or is there a more deeper, life-changing practice involved with rest? Rather than just recuperating, can rest be reflective? Can it allow us to remember? Can it refine or refind things in our life? That is exactly what we'd like to explore a little more in this video. In part one, we started to explore this ancient tribe called the Israelites. And they had this way of rest that was embedded into their days, into their week, into their years, even their law. They called it Sabbath, which just means to pause and stop. It was about remembering who they were. Yes, of course, it was about resting from their work. But Sabbath, this way, this practice was also about rest doing a work in them. You see, it's here we start to realize or start to scratch the surface of what the true power of pausing and stopping and rest can be. As Michael Shaw refers to in terms of music, as the ancient Israelites were discovering, that rest can be so much more. As Socrates says, an unexamined life is not worth living. A little harsh, perhaps, but it completely rings true to this idea of rest. You see, if we don't get a chance to stop and reflect, then we never actually work out if what we're busy doing is actually what we want to do at all. Who we're modelling ourselves after, who we're trying to become, is it even someone we want to be? Without reflection, we miss refinement. We actually don't get a chance to stop and ask, is this worth doing at all? Are the things we're pursuing worth pursuing? This is the power of rest and reflection. One of the other applications that comes with this type of reflective rest is not just reflecting around all the stuff you might be doing wrong, but it's also reflecting on all the things that are good. We've talked about it before, the having gratitude, a heart of thankfulness, taking a moment to enjoy everything that you've been blessed with. One of the most persuasive reasons that I am interested in this, practice or way of rest and reflection is because Jesus did it. In every account of his time walking amongst us, it talks about him withdrawing to lonely and desolate places. And in John 6:15, it says actually, when he saw the crowd and now intending to make him king, it says he withdraws to the mountain by himself. Jesus didn't live a hurried life, in fact, trying to be unproductive, some of the things he does or seems to do. You could possibly say when hearing this type of message, but I don't want to be lazy. And I guess my counter to that statement is Jesus did this consistently. Well, we see Jesus do this consistently for the 3 years he does ministry in his 33-year existence. And he is, whether you believe his statements or not, the most influential person in all of our history. And so even though he had time to rest, withdraw and reflect, it's about quality, not quantity. It isn't just Jesus who spoke about rest and reflection, though. Take a look at any popular podcast on the corporate world, or being a business or even a new age guru, any CEO's podcast or blog, and you'll find this concept of rest and reflection. It seems they're catching up to this ancient tribe that lived thousands of years ago, all about this rhythm of rest and reflection. You see, they're finding that living in this way means that you're actually more productive, you're more inspired, you're more creative, and you have more energy to give to the things that matter most, rather than trying to just work through or muster up the energy to work through the busyness. To talk about this practically, I want to share what I've been working on. I guess what my reflections have been on reflecting. And it's a work in progress, trying different things. But here's what it looks like for me at the moment. I practically have mentors that speak into my life, that have permission to ask me, hey, how are you spending your money? Hey, how are you spending your time? Hey, how are you treating your wife? How are you looking after your family? It allows me to reflect and hopefully do that better, do that stronger. The most extreme thing I've tried is every 6 months or so, and I've only done this a couple of times, I'll go camping by myself. And it gives me a whole night by a campfire, just with myself, to be able to reflect and think and consider everything in my life. Is it going the way that it should? Am I growing in the things that I've been being taught? Wanting to come back fully, making sure that I'm learning the things and I'm growing. But your setting could be different, and I would really love to hear how you reflect, or how you plan to develop a habit of reflection. As per normal, if you enjoyed this, please comment, subscribe, reshare. We've got one more in the series of rest, and I'm really looking forward to talking then. See you then.